Because truly in nature, they're just worker bees. So, but guess what? All these other elements are a conditioning process. And that's what we're trying to do here. Condition you not only to be a great realtor, but to be just great in life. So think about what it is today that you can do. And here's the thing, like if you haven't been consistent with the last 3 weeks, it's okay. Like today, begin again. I did this, I went through this process last night on week number 3. And it's simply like being able to give clear targets of what I'm going to accomplish during the week. And I was reading something here about, how intelligent we are as humans and how our thought process really creates our reality. So let me read this here, okay? Because it's something about the thought process, right? And what's really neat about us as humans is that we're able to create the reality before it actually becomes a reality. So I'm going to read something and then I'm going to go ahead and try to break this down a little bit for you. It says, we stimulate the world and plan our actions in it. Only human beings can do this. That's how brilliant we are. We make little avatars of ourselves. We place those avatars in fictional worlds. Then we watch what happens. If our avatar thrives, then we act like he does in the real world. Then we thrive. But if our avatar fails, we don't go there. If we have any sense, we let him die in the fictional world so we don't have to really die in the present. So what I got out of that is like, we have the ability to imagine ourselves being successful for the day, for the week, for the quarter, right? And those that are able to see that as the forefront of what they want to go after will create that as a reality. But it all begins with the avatar in our minds in a fictional world. Now, at the same time, if we see ourselves fail during that process, we will kill that avatar of actually succeeding. So we do nothing about it. So that's why it's so important to be able to make the deposits and the routines to build your mind to be able to see something greater for yourself. And I thought it was mind-blowing the way he described it. Because we've said this before, any target you hit, any goal you've achieved, or anything that you've actually wanted and got it, it was created twice. It was created up here in your mind, and then it was created in your reality, just like this avatar, right? If we see that person, yourself, in this fictional world surviving, and we keep that thought process at the forefront of our mind, we will achieve it. But if we can't get past that imaginary line and put all those obstacles and your failures and the reasons why you can't get it, guess what? You won't move forward. So you've actually created that avatar to fail, which in turn you created yourself to fail. I thought that was brilliant on the way he described it. And this is what as we start looking at it, he starts talking about, really thinking this process through and understanding that thinking is listening to yourself. So we always talk about this concept about trusting the process, listening to yourself, right? Going based on your own experiences and making decisions based on that. Not the avatar that's afraid to do things, but the one that knows you can accomplish it with the right routines, with the right actions, with the right processes. And it comes down to you of what you're going to do moving forward. You can create much the same, and many of you have created a lot of success, but this is not your arrival point. Understand there's still more within you. There's still more within me, and that's why I come in so pumped up about doing these things. And I can't tell you to do what I'm unwilling to do. And I'll tell you what, one thing you could depend on is that I'm consistent. And I'm synonymous with consistency. But guess what? Many of you are. And if you're not, that's what attracted you here to begin with, is being able to simply do the things that you said. You'll be surprised how much trust you begin to create for yourself. And this process is not tough at all. I was listening to a podcast, and that's another thing. I listen to a podcast. Not only do I read, but I also listen to a podcast. We have so much time in between when we're not just focused on social media. We're not just focused on watching, Netflix. There's so much time that you have to be able to create the life you want. And, I was reading I was listening to this podcast, and he starts talking about, why a lot of agents fail. And it's not necessarily because of the skill set, right? It's because of the ease to be able to get into this business. It's because, oftentimes we think that just because we receive the certification or the certificate, that we don't have to develop the other skill sets required to actually succeed, which is capacity for marketing, sales, systems, and leadership. So many employee-minded individuals come into this game and they're just overwhelmed. Because truly in nature, they're just worker bees. So but guess what? All these other elements are a conditioning process. And that's what we're trying to do here. Condition you not only to be a great realtor, but to be just great in life. That is what success is all about. And it begins with the small deposits through routines. Now, there's something else that I want to read here, because I think it's very relevant to the way we see our situation. And it has to do with the things that hold you back. It could be past memories, right? Past experiences. It could be something horrific that has happened to us. It could be family issues. It could be how you were victimized in a certain situation by a business partner, by a family member, by a friend, bullied. Maybe you were bullied. And there's all these things that really hold us back and create this anxiety, the inner nervousness to actually go out and dominate your game. And the reason your business has not grown to its potential because there is lack of confidence due to these items, these thought processes, these memories. And I want to be able to shatter that story that we hold within our heads that are keeping us back, of how we were done so wrong, about how we were the victim and never the perpetrator. And he says here, memory. Memory is a tool. Memory is the past guides to the future. If you remember something bad happened, you can figure out why. They can carry to avoid that bad thing happening again. That's the purpose of memory. So let me read that again, because I kind of messed that up. If you remember that something bad happened, you can figure out why. Then you can try to avoid that bad thing happening again. That's the purpose of memory. It's not to remember the past. It's to stop the same damn thing from happening again, over and over again. So as we start looking at these memories, it's supposed to do one thing, is to build capacity. But oftentimes we see memory as a hindrance to our progression. That's why when we start making some money, there's something in our past that stops us from making more, so we shut down. An upper limit issue. But here's another aspect of it. And I highlighted this because I really wanted to go over it. And I can't find it, but it's true. One of the things that he mentions here is that we're very particular about what it is that we remember from our past, right? And we can remember certain things that benefit our story of why we can't continue to grow forward, right? Our childhood. We remember all those clear things about how we were victimized and how, certain things never go our way. So we remember those details to really back up our story, because that is who we are. That is what we've told the world we are. And one of the things that I like that he said in here was that we forget equally important facts of our past as well, because it doesn't fit into our story. And we had a little conversation about this, about, if things like you were bullied, we're like, where have you bullied? Right? And we forget the details where we were actually the perpetrator in certain things. And it's really easy to go down this path of why I can't move forward. And hey, I was in a situation where this would happen to me. And odds are there was another situation where those things you did upon others. And one thing about memory is about learning about our mistakes and not necessarily dwelling on them, because our mind has already fixated on the things that will back up our own story. So what does this all have to do with real estate? What does this have to do with your ability to grow and expand? And it's just really understanding that there's certain things that will keep you in power, and there's other things that will just hold you back that are based on stories at this point. So whatever happened in the past is a story, because our mind will only absorb the facts that help back up that story. So the whole point of this is to challenge that by understanding who you are today. Routines allow you to understand who you are today. The story of I'm not a marketer. The story of I'm not a leader. I will never be this top sales producer stems from the stories that will back up that same exact story about yourself. But then we forget all the things we did accomplish, where you were an effective marketer, where you were an effective leader, and where you were an effective salesperson. So we have to challenge the stories that are really keeping us from growing. That was a story that stopped me for many years. I don't understand technology. And I would back up that same story with my past, where I haven't been good in technology. But I forgot all those great moments where I was. I'm not good in sales. I'm not good on the phone. Like, what stories are you saying? I'm not good on live video. But there have been moments where you've been phenomenal, where you've been great, one of the best. But we conveniently forget about those things in order to stay in a place of comfort. We're not in this place to be comfortable. And I'm going to tell you, being able to do something like this will allow you to step out of the comfort zone and into a place of expansion. But you have to trust the process. Routines allow you to be able to do that, to get out of that mindset of the things that have held you back. And here's the thing. In order for you to grow, you got to become better every single day. Just imagine if you were to work out every single day, drink your vitamins every day, read something positive for your business every day, for yourself, stay connected every day, work on your marketing sales systems every day. There is no way you will come out with a negative result. Now it's just a matter of time. But these stories where it's convenient to just back up that things are not working out for you, it's because you're looking for that. I've tried everything. Well, you're forgetting the details where you haven't tried enough. Because if you tried everything, things would be working your way. So the game truly is about expansion. The game is truly about doing the work. And knowing that you just can't take it lightly and only be committed when things are bad. Or only be committed when things start turning your way. The whole point is to be committed, period. And it's so much easier to just say that you're doing everything as opposed to doing it. I had a conversation. We had a boot camp this weekend, And it was powerful. Like Carla, there was like 25 individuals showed up. It was a sight to see. It was awesome. But it was so easy not to sign up. It was so much easier to sign up and then not show up because we're not where we need to be. Maybe I'll show up on the next one when I'm actually going to the gym, which won't happen. The whole point is to be able to look at the facts as they are and not to posture. And many of you didn't go because, well, I don't know if I can keep up. It doesn't matter. Who cares what we think? It's what the truth looks like. And guess what? Like everyone that showed up had that same thought process. Oh, with an exception of maybe one or two individuals. But for the most part, had the same thought process. But here's the difference. They were able to still continue to show up because of the thoughts of where they did succeed overwhelmed the thoughts where they didn't succeed. And these stories of what I just described was exactly what occurred for many of you. And granted, not everyone's on the same page. Some of you had other things already pre-planned. But you'd be surprised how many people actually signed up but found a different excuse or a different reason that was far greater than themselves. And what I'm saying, that is the key difference. And the only way to fix it is to be conscious and cognizant of what stories we're actually backing up conveniently. So this thought process all came to me through this 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson. And, it's more like a reference book at this point because he has different chapters. And, it's just very thought provocative, right? It provokes thought. And it really is a way to success. It really is a way for you to get what you want. But routine is one of them. Like, what are you going to be committed to this week? And I'm going to invite you to just fill out the 12-week targets. And I love reading the way he describes certain things because it's like, oh, like that makes sense now. And success is no accident as long as you understand what it takes. And you're here because you wanted to go on this path, on this journey of changing not only your livelihood, but the thought process of generations ahead. Some of you are in here and are listening to the first time and you're like, oh, the world is different from what I thought was possible for me. And it's not just about the money. You'll get it when you're good. But it's about the impact you're going to ultimately make on the generations ahead. So I'm going to leave you with this. Thinking is truly listening to yourself. But the problem is, many of us that feel that we think is really just self-criticism of the things you can't do. And then we look for ideas and ideals and examples of why it couldn't work for you. Ultimately, allowing your avatar to die. What I'm saying is, whatever you have planned for your next 12 weeks, make that the forefront of your success. See yourself succeeding at a high level. And then back that up by all the times you have succeeded in the past. Think about all the times that you did win and things did go your way. Focus on those things. Look for them. And sometimes it's hard because we're so self-critical that it's hard to be able to find those things. But those facts are just as important, if not more. Your targets are big. And what you want is going to require you to become that person, a bigger you, a stronger you, a person that will be able to pull it off. And it starts today with your routines. Guys, that's all I got for this Mindset Monday. If you want a great read, I would highly encourage you to pick up this book by Jordan Peterson, or just listen to some of his podcasts and also his YouTube channel. He's got a lot of great content that'll just make you think. And when you think, you start seeing something greater for yourself. And we minimize the criticism we actually give to ourselves. Thank you again for joining me. Who do I have here today? Cindy, Claudia, Francis, Dora Lee, Nicholas, Beatrice, David Moreno. What's going on, my brother? Hector Gonzalez. David, I love what you said yesterday. I need to get back into a routine because you understand routines give you power. And you were very adamant about going on a ride on a Sunday. And I absolutely love it because that put us all into power. But you understand how that works. You do the things to get you in power, and you'll start doing the things that get you the success you're looking for. Jermaine, what's going on, my brother? 3 a.m. Man, I watched a video of you at 3 a.m. Unbelievable. Liz Sands, Fatima, good morning. Isela, good morning. Bianca, Rudy, what's going on? You got some deals in escrow, man. Proud of you. Routines. And Marcus De La Garza, what's going on, my brother? So, guys, thank you for joining me for this episode of Mindset Monday. And if you need some more clarity on this 12-week targets, feel free to reach out, put it onto Workplace or reach out directly. Whatever I can do to help you get into those routines, because I know it's going to be beneficial for you long term. I know it. So, guys, continue that expansion process. Continue to want more for yourselves. Become that person. And I will talk to you soon. Have a great day.